Hey everybody, Tanya from Shooting Star SVG here, and today I am going to go over the second lesson in our boot camp, which is all about branding. So at this point, you have honed in on what your market is going to be, and now you should be focusing on your branding. And this is a very important step. But before I get into all of that, please give me a like and subscribe below. That way you are up to date on all of these awesome videos I'm creating on passive income. That way you can stay up to date with all of this. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And excuse me, I am getting over a cold, so hopefully this video goes okay. And if not, well, I'll just have to redo it again shortly. So branding. If you didn't know, this is what people see when they come and view your files and your website, like your logo, your color scheme, your name, anything like that. You want people to be able to think, okay, Shooting Star SVG, she makes really good SVGs, so I'm going to go back to her. I'm going to remember her. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video because I'm going to go over choosing your name, logo design, and color schemes, which are all crucial for brand awareness and creating that. So basically the first thing that you're going to start off with is choosing what your name is going to be. And this was probably one of the most difficult decisions I had to make because I felt like it was ridiculously permanent, and I originally started off as McCarthy Mementos with my physical products, but found that that didn't really resonate with me for creating SVGs. So I did change my name to Shooting Star SVG. And now, of course, since I am branching out to other avenues, I am now questioning my branding, which kind of sucks because I've built a website and all this stuff. So I think for now I'm just going to stick with it, and maybe in a year or two if I decide to make a switch, I'll do it and just forward everything to my new brand, but that's besides the point. Just keep in the back of your mind that your choice is not 100% permanent, but it is very painful to change if you have built it up from something. So keep that in the back of your mind. So the first step with anything is choosing your name, as we've discussed. And I knew that when I was switching from physical products to digital that I wanted SVGs somewhere in the name. And I literally was driving to and from work every day, just like saying all of these S letters and these S words, including the S word you're not supposed to say, because I was getting so frustrated, and finally came up with Shooting Star SVG. And it sounded like a good alliteration at the time, although it really isn't one. And I just went with it. So there are other resources out there that you can use. You can go through Google, and that can help just by typing in some words that you like. There are also some name generators out there. One that I like to use is called Namelix, and I'll post a link to that in this video. So you can go ahead and give that a try and see what you're coming up with. I can also help you brainstorm as well. I don't have any problems doing that. So another one is lean domain search, and that will populate names based off of keywords. So if you're anything like me and you're looking for something specific that you want in your name, you simply would type in the keyword that you're looking for, and away it goes. But basically, you want to make sure that your name represents who you are and also the idea behind what you're trying to accomplish. You want to be short and catchy. That way, when people start to recognize your brand, it's easy to remember and it can roll off the tongue. You don't want to have a shop name with, 10 different words in it. It just usually doesn't fly. So make sure that it represents you and your products. That's very important. It'll be a lot easier for people to associate your products to your name if they are similar. If you're selling wedding invitations, but your name has something in it about baby showers, those aren't ever going to click, and nobody will remember you. Or maybe they will, because they remember that lady that has a baby shower name is selling wedding invitations, and it's kind of weird. So who knows? It could have the opposite effect, but I don't recommend that. And then the last thing that you want to do when you decide on a name is to check for trademark. And you can utilize that by going to the trademark search engine. And I will throw a link up and a quick video card on how to use test to search. That way you're not using anything that is already trademarked. And in conjunction with the trademark search, go ahead and do a Google domain search as well. And that will allow you to make sure that in the future, if you want to start a website, you don't have to worry about somebody else having your name. Okay? So there we are for choosing your name. So the logo creation and color schemes kind of go hand in hand, but I'm going to go over logo creation first. After you get your shop name situated, you want to go ahead and design a logo. So you can do this yourself. I'm sure if you're doing any sort of design work, you probably have the capabilities to design your own logo. However, if you don't have the time or you don't have the desire, you can outsource it. There are plenty of websites out there that do it for fairly cheap. And you can go on Fiverr.com and find somebody who does logo creation, and then you don't have to worry about putting the time and effort into it. Basically, you give them your colors, what you want in it, kind of like an idea, and they will go ahead and make something up for you. So just make sure if you are outsourcing, the person that you're purchasing from is reputable. There it is. Because if they aren't, you're just going to get a hunk of junk, and then you're back at square one. Okay? So you want your logo to be very simple, and you want it to pop. You may or may not want your shop name included in it. Just make sure you don't create something that clashes, because you'll be using it on many different things, including promo images, products, mock-ups, websites, and anything else your heart desires that you can slap a logo on. You want it to represent your business. My name has star in it, so I chose a design with some stars of several sizes flowing in a shooting star effect and colored them based off of my color scheme. So just keep in mind that your color choice is also going to influence people. And you want to make sure that your colors are cohesive, and we'll get into that in the next slide on color theory. For me personally, simple is better, and everyone is different. In conjunction with the colors, you want to make sure that you choose your fonts carefully and that they're easily readable. And by the love of God, do not use Comic Sans. It's like, just don't do it. Unless you love Comic Sans, then go ahead. But really, anytime somebody sees that font, there's a font creator who cringes on the inside. I've changed my logo 3 times since inception, so just keep that in mind. And then, again, choose if you want symbolic or logo type. And basically, logo type would have your name directly in the logo, and symbolic is just, a logo without your name that represents you and your shop. So keep that in mind. And then I always recommend that you design your logo in an SVG format, which is a scalable vector graphic. That way you can change the size without losing quality. You're going to use different sizes of your logo on many different places, so an SVG is your best bet, okay? You have more flexibility. If you utilize a raster type, your image is going to stretch and become pixelated, and you don't want that, okay? And then the last thing that I can note is also create a colorless version. So you might have a more intricate colored logo. Create something that is also colorless, because you may need a watermark of some sort on videos or something of that nature. It's always just good to have a color version and a non-color version. So with that being said, you can take those tips to go ahead and create your logo. And now we'll get into color schemes. So color schemes, whew. I research color schemes very regularly. Even like now, I'll sit down for maybe an hour or two a month and look at color palettes and schemes and what works well and what doesn't, and color theory. They're ridiculously important. I didn't know this when I first started out, so my main promo images were like black and yellow, which is horrible on the eyes, and nobody ever told me. And then one day somebody was like, "Your color scheme is horrible," and I was like, "Huh, I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about color." So, golly gracious, do not use contrasting, horrible, bright colors because it will tire people's eyes out and they won't want to look at your stuff anymore. So, you can find a lot of resources online about color theory. My advice is always choose lighter colors that are easier on the eyes and complementary. And just keep in the back of your mind that colors do invoke emotion. So there's an article that I posted in the blog of this about branding that talks about color choices and what kind of emotions they invoke. And it was really kind of eye-opening. Just keep in mind that the colors you choose are going to be everywhere in your promo images, your logo, your website, and anything else that you can think of that will possibly have your items in it. You want to choose at least 3, okay? Having a base color, an accent color, and a neutral. Your base is basically what you're going to use all of the time. The accent is just that, something that accents the base, and then a neutral. Think like white, gray, beige, off-white. Things along that line. Just make sure your base and your accent don't clash, okay? Your schemes can really focus on a few different types. They can be monochromatic, which is just one color in different shades. You can use analogous colors, which are colors that are close on the color wheel, and complementary colors, which are colors across from one another on the color wheel, or triadic, which are colors that form a triangle on the color wheel. You're gonna apply these everywhere, okay? So that's it for color schemes, really. Just make sure you're not choosing anything that's ridiculously clashy because people won't want to look at your stuff, like I learned early on, or not so early on. I think somebody actually gave me feedback 6 months in, and I was like, gosh, I've been running with these colors for so long. And I thought they were great. Little did I know they were horrible. So if you have any questions on color schemes, feel free to let me know because I am more than happy to help. There are a lot of good websites out there, and I will post a few that I use to research color palettes, and hopefully that will help you find something that you like. So to kind of button everything up, you want to make sure that you choose a well thought out branding name, okay? Take your time with it. You don't have to rush this, okay? Just take your time. And you're going to want to choose a very well thought out name and generate a logo that is colored and also colorless. Decide if you want something that is symbolic or logo type, which means that you have your name included in the logo itself. And choose softer color schemes with 3 to 5 colors and get your branding started. I'm going to go and create a post that I will add to this on how to create promotional images to showcase your work outside of just utilizing mockups, which will help. So look for that. I'll probably do a quick video on it as well, which I'll card into this when I'm done. But I can't reiterate enough. If you have any questions, please let me know. Also, hit like and subscribe below as I create updates. Again, I'm not just putting these videos in blog posts. Sometimes I'm just throwing them up as I get inspiration because I need to get it out of my head. So, and that like and subscribe also helps keep me motivated as well to know I have people cheering me on. So that's all we have for branding and brand awareness. And let me just check and see what we have next on the agenda. Goal setting. So look for goal setting coming up very soon. This is going to cover long-term and short-term goals. and also another tactic to keep you focused. So I hope everybody has a great night.